people, it is 12:30. We are going to get started. We're going to get started with introductions, actually, just to make it easier for you to know what's going on, know who you're working with today. This is a dining etiquette workshop. And so, as I mentioned before, when you all were walking in, I know that everybody knows how to eat. We know that you know how to use a fork. We know that you know how to chew. We know that you know how to swallow your food. What we're trying to do here today is make sure that you know how to do it using etiquette. Make sure that you know how to do it using it in a professional setting. Now, one thing that I will say is this is intentional, right? Many of you are about to graduate. Many of you may be looking for jobs. Many of you may also be looking for like executive level jobs, right? You maybe want to be a manager, right? You're looking to make the big bucks, right? And so, with that in mind, one of the key aspects of sometimes like interviews and things of that nature that employers may have is a lunch to get to know you, right? And because of that same reason, we want to make sure that you, as Laredo College alumni, are prepared to not only participate in these types of lunches, but also to excel, right? Manners are going to set you aside, manners are going to set you apart, and possibly land you that dream job that you may have. So that's basically what we're doing today. Please bear with us. This is going to be a collective exercise. So we're going to make sure that we provide some instruction, some direction to everybody here. Um, we'll move on once everybody seems to be on the same page. There is a process. So just bear with us. Try to memorize the process. Try to learn the process. This is universally applicable. You can apply it in the workforce, but you can also apply it at home. You can apply it with your friends, so on and so forth. So I think we can go ahead and get started with introductions. So you know some of the names for the people around you. My name is Pedro Rivera, and I serve as the Director for Student Life, but I am also joined by...
Hi, I'm Cristina Valenciano, the Director for Event Services.
Yeah.
I'm test. I'm Salcio Rafa, the Assistant Director for Event Services.
And very soon, we will also be joined by Ms. Mariana Rodriguez, who serves as our Assistant Director for Student Life. Woo! Yeah, okay. Perfect. So we are going to be walking around with you all throughout this entire training, and this is going to be a collective effort from your trainers. So if we miss something, everybody else will be able to back us up, and we'll try to provide you the most comprehensive and complete training. Do you want to introduce yourself, Mariana?
Hi everyone, my name is Mariana Rodriguez. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Life.
Yeah. So while we are trying to dine in a very formal manner, I want to make sure that we kind of keep this casual, right? Make sure to ask questions, raise your hand if you have an inquiry, let us know, call us over. We are here to help you learn, right? So I think the first step is making sure that we take a seat, and Ms. Valenciano is going to be up there. She's going to be our model for the rest of the day. The first step is taking care of your napkin. So everybody grab your napkin. You put your napkin...
Can I stop you very quick?
Yes, please, of course.
Before we start with the napkins, if you have anything that is on the table that was not on the table, well, I'm sorry. If you have anything that you brought to the table, it should not be on the table. So if you brought a water, a drink, anything like that, a purse, phone, anything, needs to be put either in your pocket or on the floor or under your chair. Nothing should be on the table that was not already on the table whenever you arrived in the room. If we could take a moment for that, that would be great.
Absolutely. Yes, I completely oversaw that. Please make sure don't have your phone out, especially if you're having a dinner or a lunch. This is an opportunity to connect with the people in front of you, not the people on your phone, right? If you're interviewing and your phone is ringing, it's making sounds, it's vibrating, that's going to distract you, and you're not going to be able to do well in whatever interview or conversation that you're having. Once again, once the table is clear, once you open it up and you have a little bit more space to maneuver, please make sure to grab your napkin and place it on your lap. Don't place it around your neck. You're not eating crawfish, right? Don't place it around your neck. I've seen that multiple times. It looks a little bit weird. Trust me, I know. Clothing is expensive. Some of you are wearing white, but it does not go around your neck. It goes on your lap.
You put your napkin on your lap, you open it like so. If you feel that it's too large, you may fold it in half and place it on your lap. Okay? It doesn't go here. No.
The napkin will be for your left, on your left side. That is your napkin.
Your
Sometimes,
napkin.
sometimes your napkin will either be placed in your cup. Right now, everything is preset, but in most instances, sometimes the napkin is either placed on top of your plate or inside a cup. So, sorry, when you're at the restaurant, you don't have to do it all fancy and go like this. So, remember, you're in a professional setting, so just open it or put it in half, cut it, put it in half, place it on your lap, and it stays there, right? And so that's where your napkin should technically stay, right?
In some fancy places, the server may actually put it on the lady's lap. Very, very, very fancy places. Not today, though. Just keep that in mind. Alrighty. The next step after you have your napkin, I want to make sure that we're on the same page here, is your tea, right? Preparing your tea. So there is one general rule, right, when using your utensils. And the rule is we start from the outside in, right? The first thing that we're going to prepare is your drink. So you actually have tea and you have a teaspoon. The teaspoon is next to the knife. So that is the spoon that you're going to be using to prepare to stir your tea. Now, there are lemons and there's also sugar on the table. So at this point, we're going to prepare your drink. Whoever's closest to the sugar can grab the sugar. Whoever's closest. Don't overthink it. If you're the closest, grab it.
Grab it and
Don't
put it in
pass
your
it.
hand. Don't
Just
pass
grab
it.
it.
We're not there yet. You're
Just
holding the
grab
sugar
it.
caddy.
Don't pass it.
Okay.
And I know it's weird and I know it's funny. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. We're getting the hang of this, right? Does everybody have, does the person that was closest to the sugar have their sugar? Yes. Yes. Perfect. Good stuff. So then, the other rule of thumb is whenever you're doing dining, you have to be considerate of others, right? You have to put other people first. That is a general rule, and it's going to help you for basically everything in life, but especially for food. So, you offer the person to your left the sugar. Now, they can either take it or they can decline. If they take it,
No,
you're
no, no.
more than welcome to hand it to them.
You offer them the whole caddy.
Yes,
You
offer them the
the
whole.
whole caddy.
Yes,
Don't-
offer them the whole
You're not
caddy.
offering it and then let them grab while you're holding
No.
it. You have to offer them, they take it.
Offer them the whole caddy, the
Offer them
whole
the whole
tray.
caddy.
The whole tray. Grab what you need,
Grab what you need,
and then you continue passing.
and then you can give it back to the first person. Once the first
Did
person,
everybody get that? After you pass it to the person to your left, you yourself take the sugar for your own personal use. Shh,
Can
guys.
everybody please pay attention?
pay attention,
You
people, pay
grab the
attention.
sugar for your own personal use after you offer it to the people on your left-hand side. Then you pass it on to the right, the whole caddy, not, oh, here, person next to me on my right, take sugar. No, you pass them the whole caddy, and they take what sugar they need, and then they pass it on to the next person.
Pass the whole caddy. Now, as you're doing that, some of you are going to start
Take your
accumulating
sugar,
trash.
What you
As
need,
you're doing
and then
that,
pass it to Luis.
some of you are going to start
He
accumulating
needs to pass
trash.
it. He needs to
If
pass
you
it.
have the trash from the sugar packet,
¿No me oigo?
you can hide it under your salad plate, right? You have to be considerate of others. Don't throw it on the ground. Don't put it in your pocket. Put it under your plate. Has everybody taken care of sugar?
Yes? So we've
Yes.
already got our sugar packets?
Everybody got the sugar? Yes, everybody's hiding the sugar packet trash under their plate?
Yes, you put
Perfect.
your sugar, you have to put your sugar in your cup, but don't open the packs así like, you're opening a pack of gummies. You cut off from the very top here, and you
Yeah.
pour it in here, in your cup.
Once everybody's done with the sugar, you can just put it back in the center. Whoever is the last person that has it in their hand, just put it down in the center. Okay, very important thing that we're listening to right now. That sound, we shouldn't listen to it. We shouldn't hear it.
Yes.
Don't make the click, 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 click sound. Don't do that, right? There's no need. You're not doing anything special by doing that. It's the same thing to like stir it, to like
Very
clicking your
subtle
cup.
like this.
Very subtle. The less noise you make, the more considerate you are of others, the better.
Okay. Now, some of you may be wondering, what do I do with my lemon? You grab the same thing. If you put lemon in your tea, the person closest to the lemon grabs the plate. You pick up the lemon. You offer it to your person on the left. They take it. They pass it back to you. You grab your lemon wedge and you keep passing the plate to your right. Now, it's very important that you learn how to actually put the lemon in your tea. So you should never just go like this to the lemon wedge. Okay?
Pay
Again, you
attention
have
to
to
the
be
lemon, people.
considerate. You have to be considerate of the others. And lemon does squirt and it'll get somebody in their face, in their eye, and so you have to be able to cover your hand here and squeeze the lemon.
If you are feeling lost, just look at the screen. This is literally being projected on the screen.
The lemon.
Take care of the lemon. Make sure to cover the juices from landing on someone's eyes or face.
Some people may want to put the lemon wedge in there in your tea, and that's fine, you can. If you do not want to put the lemon wedge inside your teacup, you may put it on the side of your salad plate. Okay?
Now, one more thing that we definitely have to recognize and that we have to give you a heads up about is basically the following. What is available to drink now is basically what is available to drink throughout the lunch.
Yes.
There's no Cokes, there's no Sprite, there's no agua mineral. What is available on your table is what is available throughout the entire dining experience. So please keep that in mind. If you don't like tea, start developing and acquiring the taste for tea. This is only one meal out of many in your life, right? So bear with it.
Raise your hand if you still have questions on preparing your tea.
Any questions about teas or drinks?
Tea? Oh.
It is not disrespectful to only drink one of the drinks that you have. I highly recommend you, however, to try it. You may actually like whatever they're serving, but if you only drink water, for instance, that is perfectly fine. Maybe you can't drink tea because of health reasons. Maybe you don't like the taste. Maybe it has too much sugar. You don't have to drink it. That's the reason why you have to. But please keep in mind, there are no other drink alternatives, just what you have here. Are we all good to go with the tea, people? We're all good to go. Okay. You probably have used your spoon. You probably used your spoon. One of the rules is don't put your spoon back on the table cover, back on the tablecloth. Right?
Notice how I put my spoon here on the on the top of my salad plate.
Yes.
You never want to place it like this, because that's not, you don't do that. You place it on top of your plate.
Please make sure to put that spoon on top of your plate. I can hear the clinking. That is
right
great.
Here at the top.
Yes. You don't need to put it back on the table cover. Just put it on top of your plate. You may potentially use it again. You don't want for it to get dirty. Here. Right? From here, the next thing to do is the salad, right? And so you have your salad. You have the fork on the very, very left, the small fork. That is the fork that you will be using to eat your salad. Just keep in mind, it's smaller, it's easier to handle, it's easier to manage, and sometimes salads have tomatoes and cucumbers and things of that nature that you may have to cut, and so this makes it easier to do so. Now, usually your salad should already be served in a way that should be easy to eat, right? Bite-sized pieces. But sometimes that is not the case, and that is totally fine. If you check your salad and you see that some chunks are a little bit too big, you can definitely make like 2 or 3 cuts in a diagonal fashion to cut up the salad and make it easier to eat. If you need to do that, please go ahead and do so. You have your knife next to you, you have your fork next to you, and there's great examples of how to do so on the screen right now. Do it under 3. Do it under 3. You're not grinding and blending the salad, you're just making it easier to eat. Now, some of you may not like the cucumber, some of you may not like the tomato, the carrots, the lettuce, or the salad overall. If there's something that you don't like, you don't have to make a big deal out of it, right? You don't have to say, guacala, I don't want to eat this. You don't have to do that. Just put it to the side. Just put it to the side and don't eat it. Remember, bite-sized pieces of your salad are best.
So again, you just kind of and be mindful of how you use your utensils. You never want to like hold it like if you have never used a fork in your life. There's a proper way to hold your utensils. So you cut any small piece, but try, you can do a large, big piece. This is a smaller salad plate, but you want to try and get the furthest out, make one large cut, and then again, you can turn your plate a little bit, so that way you're not lifting it and moving it. And then again, do another cut. So your pieces should be small. Then once you're done, your knife goes on top, at the very top of your plate, and your fork can also go until on top of it, so that way we're waiting to eat for the next step. Okay?
One of the very, very, very nitpicky rules about dining etiquette is making sure that the sharp edge of your knife is always facing you. You never really want it facing anybody else or outside of your plate or in your general direction. So just like Cristina put up on the projection, the knife edge is actually facing us. So don't look at me, look at the screen. It's easier because it's actually on the screen.
And your fork actually fits on top of your knife. It's stackable. Okay?
Is everybody good to go with cutting their salad? Everybody's ready for the next step? Can anybody guess what the next step is? The ranch, the dressing, absolutely. Same concept that we had for the sugar and the lemon applies. So whoever's closest to the ranch, to the dressing, make sure to grab it. It has a handle, and it has a handle for a reason. Now, sometimes in different places, the ranch or the dressing, whatever it is that we're using as a dressing or sauce, has a spoon. You are supposed to use that spoon to serve a little bit of that on your plate. In this instance, however, we do not have a spoon. That basically means that you are allowed to drizzle the dressing on your salad. Now, as I mentioned before, same concept applies. Offer it to your left before you serve yourself. One important distinction to make, one very important consideration to make when handing dressing, and please, 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 please pay attention. Whenever you're handing dressing, my recommendation is place it on the table. If you hand it to somebody, you run the risk of actually spilling or dropping the ranch as you're passing it over. The last thing you want is to drop the dressing on the person that may hire you, right? Make that consideration, right? Place it on the table, makes it easier. They serve. If the person to your left already serves, they can give it back to you, and you pass it to the right. You all got this at this point. So just make sure, get your dressing.
Pick it up, offer it, and if you feel more comfortable passing it to them, make sure you're passing it with the handle. If you're offering it to your person on the left, you offer it with the handle so they can grab it from the bottom. Okay?
Please be mindful for whenever you're pouring your dressing, the dressing should be for the entire table. There is enough dressing to go around for everybody at the table. Please do not overserve your dressing.
Also, do not use your finger to, if there's leftover or anything like that on the rim, don't use your finger, don't use a utensil, nothing. You gradually let it fall on your plate. And again, even if you don't want the salad, you don't have to get dressing. But again, don't do this to the thing. That's a no-no. Okay, that's a no-no. You just offer it back to the person on your right, and they keep going. Okay? So you pour your dressing, pass it along, and then once you're done, you put it back. The last person that has it puts it in the back of the table.
Super simple. Once you're done serving the dressing, The last person that is holding it in their hands can put it back in the center of the table. This is a great opportunity to potentially get more dressing. If there's still some, you can ask. Same concept applies. The person that is closest to the dressing picks it up and passes it to the right until it reaches that person.
Okay.
Has everybody served the dressing on their salad? Are we ready to enjoy their salads? Good. Okay. So once again, make sure to grab that fork that should be at the very top of your plate.
Now be very mindful of the sizes that you're going to put in on your fork and into your mouth. We're not, notice I'm not going like this because I'm never going to go like this and eat it. Okay, no, you don't grab this much salad. Okay, you always grab just very little.
Un pedacito. Something small. Un bocado.
You eat one fork at a time. And again, if you're waiting in between, you never put your fork off to the side like this. Okay? It's just, again, you grab another piece.
So we're going to go ahead and let you enjoy your salads,
Okay.
right? You don't need for us to walk you through chewing and swallowing, right? You all can do your thing. But we will continue giving you some sort of like feedback along the way. Once again, mind the elbows, right? Don't put your elbows on the table. That's not really respectful. Don't spread yourself too wide either, right? This is a very tight space, and that's the reason why we actually sat you all down in that one table.
And another thing, you don't want to slouch. So I know we're very used to going like this when we're eating, but technically in this instance, the food has to come to you.
Correct.
So you pick up and it comes to you. You never slouch in to eat. Okay, so
Yes.
you grab a piece and you maintain your posture. Okay, and notice that your feet should be planted on the floor. You're not sitting on top of one of your legs, but you maintain the posture and you never lean into your food. The food comes to you up here.
Yes, most definitely. And that applies to basically everything else. The main entree, the dessert, so on and so forth.
So while everybody's enjoying their salad, I'm just going to go ahead and explain a little bit about if you need to get up and leave to either get a phone call, need to go to the restroom. You will grab your napkin or your napkin, and you can put it either on your chair or back on your table, preferably on your table, right next to where it was originally. And then whenever you come back, you put it back. If you need to take a phone call, excuse yourself from the table. Just do not get up and leave. Say, excuse me. You do not need to give explanations. Nobody needs to know your business. Just say, excuse me, and then you can get up, go do your business, and then you can come back. That's pretty much all I wanted to say on that.
One more thing to note, once again, we have to emphasize the bite-sized pieces. This is easier for you to swallow. Before you open up your mouth for the next piece of food that you're going to put into it, please make sure to swallow that, right? Don't speak with your mouth full of food. It is one of those things that sometimes goes without saying, but it is in our best interest to mention it to you. So make sure to swallow your food before you open your mouth again. Nobody wants to see partially digested salad, right? So please make sure to do that. Swallow your food if you're about to speak or if you're about to put more food in your mouth. Once again, we're going to go ahead and let you enjoy your salads. We're going to do a little bit of a walkthrough around just to make sure that we're all following the same pace here before we move forward with the actual entrees. Take your time. There's no rush. This is a great opportunity to continue having those conversations in a very low volume, right? And getting to know the people that are there next to you, getting to answer those interview questions, so on and so forth.
Please know whenever you are in a professional setting, either at a conference or in a meeting, it will take some time for the back tables to receive their entree. So you need to carry conversation and network amongst yourselves within your table to pass the time until the plate gets to you. We do typically start in the front with the entrees and then they move to the back.
At this point, I don't think anybody needs it yet, but if we have serving staff around the area, right, and you need to request a refill or you want more drink, you can. However, keep this in mind. If you see that your waiter or the person that is serving you has literally their hands full with plates, drinks, dressing, you name it, and you know that they're busy, you have to read the room and give them some time, right? You have to be patient. If you see they're carrying tons of trays and they're super busy, don't ask for a refill. They're going to forget. They're doing so many other different things at the same time that they won't be able to take care of just one person being you. They want to take care of their entire table first. So just be conscious of that, right? Once again, friendly reminder, the fork comes to your mouth doesn't go to your fork, right? Don't be afraid to cut up the cucumber. Don't be afraid to cut up that tomato. There's nothing wrong with that. It is absolutely acceptable.
Very quickly, can I get a show of hands? Who is done with their salad? Okay, thank you.
Okay. So if you're like the only person out of your table, you're probably eating a little bit too fast. Just wanted to make sure that I put that out there, right? If there's already like 3, 4, 5 people in your table and you all are finishing at the same pace, that makes a lot of sense, right? You're keeping the pace of the table. But if there's 10 people and you're the only one that is done, you're probably eating a little bit too quickly and you may be missing out from the conversations that are taking place on the table.
Right now that they're coming to clear your plate, it's a good opportunity for you to discard some of the stuff that you had. So your sugar packets, if you're done with your salad, they're going to take your salad fork, okay? But they are not going to take your spoon or your knife. So at this point, you may move the fork, the knife, and the spoon back, or you can put it on your dessert plate for now. If you'd like, you can put it on your dessert plate, so that way they're also taking your salad plate. And you put your trash here, and they will take your sugar packets with them.
So we did have one question that was asked to us, and the question was this. You know how I had just mentioned pace? The question was posed in the following manner. What if I'm not eating too quickly and they're just eating too slowly? That is a great question. And the answer to that is, if you're the only one that is sticking out like a sore thumb, you're probably the one that are eating too quickly, right? You follow the general consensus and the general pace of the table, right? Once again, if 9 out of the 10 people in your table are still eating their salad and you already finished your entire salad and you gulp down your entire drink, you're probably eating too fast. Keep up or slow down to the pace of the table. Because what's going to happen is this. If you eat too fast and you finish whatever plate you have, whatever dish you have in front of you before everybody else, the server is still nonetheless going to wait for everybody to finish to bring you the next set of food. So regardless, whether you like it or not, you are going to have to wait for them. So be smart about it, eat a little bit slower, and that way you don't have to wait for too long. There are more questions, I can come over to you. Sal got it right there, okay? Please, don't hesitate to ask questions. Sal's right there. So if you have a question, don't forget it. We are walking around the room answering those questions. So just bear with us. So once you're done with the salad and once you're done with your utensil, make sure to do what Cristina did on the screen. Make sure to follow the same positioning of the fork that Cristina is putting there. And that is for a reason. Putting the fork in that specific position is going to make it easier for the serving staff to pick up the food and take it off of your table. The last thing you want is for you to set up the fork in a super random and weird way and for the fork to land on your head whenever they're picking it up. It happens. It happens. You may laugh, but it definitely happens.
It's okay, we'll take care of it. You can.
Now, it's very important. They're going to be coming around and placing bread now at your table. Do not go for the bread. Wait until the instruction, okay?
If you don't like the salad and you don't want to eat it, you don't have to, right? I will say, sometimes, depending on who you ask, this may be deemed disrespectful, right? Just take care of the food, eat whatever you like, eat whatever you don't like, and at the bare minimum, try out the food. If you genuinely don't like it, you can't eat it for a health reason. People have to be understanding of you, but at least try it out if you can, right? Who knows? Maybe you actually do like it. So one more thing, as I see that people are picking up the food, please notice that you only have one knife on your table. So don't give away the knife because you're gonna need it for the entree. Yes, make sure to keep your knife, people. What is on the projection, what is on the screen, is the right thing to do. So please bear with us as we are picking up the salad plates and getting them out of your way, and as we're bringing in the entree to your table. So please bear with us. Once again, please make sure that you keep your fork. If for whatever reason you drop your fork, right? Make sure that you get it out of the way of somebody so that people don't trip. But please do not use it again. You can push it under the table, that is perfectly fine. You can let a serving staff person know that it is on the table, but kindly request a new utensil. Do not use something that fell on the ground. Goes without saying, but I want to make sure that I share it. Also, right now, there's nothing in front of you aside from that delicious looking piece of cheesecake. Don't touch it. Cheesecake dessert happen until the end, right? You still have your entree. I really hope that nobody touched dessert yet. If you haven't, don't do it, right? That goes till the end. So, if you're grabbing your drink, I know that sometimes people say the pinky method, right? Like the whole thing. It looks kind of weird, and you don't necessarily have to do that. But the general concept,
So your pinky needs to be the closest to the rest of your fingers. So if you're holding it like this, and if you look at me over here, hi, you don't do this, you do it like this. Do you all kind of see it? I know I'm kind of far. So the closest it can be to the rest of your fingers, that's how you should hold it.
don't stick it out. It looks weird. Don't stick out your pinky. It looks kind of weird, right? It doesn't have to touch your drink, right? This actually helps your grip and it avoids you from dropping something that is slippery. But you don't have to stick it out. just like what we have on the screen. We are walking around with mics. If you do have a question, make sure to ask us
pinky.
and we'll answer it.
No pinky.
No pointy pinky, right?
No pinky.
So that whole no pinky pointing out thing is also applicable to basically other types of beverages, right? Coffee, maybe, tea, so on and so forth. So we just had a very, I would say, observative question. If your cup has a logo, the logo, whenever you sit down, should be facing you, right? But that is something that the staff will take care of. When you're having your dinner, when you're having your lunch, you don't have to always focus or worry about making sure that the logo is always facing you, right? Great question, very, very observative. But once again, that is just for the wait staff to make sure that you have a nice and pretty and presentable dinner or lunch, but not something that you have to worry about throughout the lunch. If you're getting your entrees, please do not eat them yet. Please do not touch your food. Same concept applies. If you're just getting your entrees, please, please bear with us. Do not touch your food. We are going around as fast as we can, but please, please bear with us. If you do need to wipe your face, you do have the napkin on your lap for that. Cristina is showing us on the screen how you can wipe your face, right? If you get a little bit of dressing, maybe you get a little bit.
Always tap. You never wipe. You never wipe your mouth. It's tap. Okay.
If you need to clean the area around your mouth, you can use the napkin on your lap and you tap. Don't rub it, don't smear it, especially if you're wearing makeup. Tap. Now, as we mentioned before, some of you maybe you're probably getting your food already. You're probably getting your main entree. If you see something on your plate that you don't like to eat, you don't have to make a big deal out of it. You don't have to say, "Ugh, I don't want to eat that." Just don't eat it, right? We have to be respectful of the people that cooked for us. We have to be respectful of our host. Don't, no exageres, right? If you don't like it, you don't like it. You don't have to make a big deal out of it. Just don't eat it.
Now that they're serving the plates at the tables, this is a good opportunity to start talking about the bread basket. The same concept. You're going to grab the person closest to the bread basket, grabs the bread. You offer it to the person on your left. If they accept the bread, they grab their bread roll, they pass it back to you, you grab your own. Okay? So you grab your own bread roll, and it does not go on the side of the table. In most cases, some restaurants will give you a bread plate, but you may put it on the top area of your plate because, again, this is your own food, okay? Then you pass the bread on to the person to your right, then the last person puts it back at the center of the table. The same concept with the butter here. You grab the butter. These are closed cases of butter. You may grab it, but in most instances at other restaurants, they actually have the butter on the plates. So if that's the case, you grab your knife and you take the whole butter, not just a piece. You grab the whole little, it's like a little circle. You grab the whole circle and you place it on the side of your plate or on your bread plate. Okay, but in this case, you're going to be able to go ahead and pick up the butter, pass the butter, offer it to your left, take it, and then um, pass it along to your right. Okay? And again, we don't, when we open the bread, the butter here, in this particular case, you don't have to take off the whole lid. You open it just enough to take out the butter. And at this time, you can butter your bread, provided that you have a plate. If there's no plate on your tables, do not do that yet. Okay?
Once every single person on your table has their entree, please start bringing the volume down so that we can continue with the training. Once every single person on your table has an entree, please bring the volume down so that we can continue with the training. We will go over how to eat your bread very, very soon because I see that some people are making sandwiches and that is technically not okay. We will go over how to eat your bread very, very soon. Once you have your bread on your plate, just leave it there. Once everybody has their entree and their bread, we'll go over how to take care of that. Bear with us. We are literally on the last couple of tables. Just bear with us. We will teach you how to eat the bread very, very soon. I know the bread looks delicious, but please bear with us. Once everybody has the entrees on your table, you're more than welcome to do the same concept of the sugar and the lemon with the bread and the butter. So if you are the person closest to the bread basket, please make sure to grab it, offer it to the person on your left, let them grab the bread basket and their bread. They'll give it back to you, you grab your own, and then you pass it again to the right. Same steps that we took before.
And don't over grab bread. It's one per person. Typically, it's one bread per person at the table. If there's leftover at the end during your meal, then you may grab, but do not pre-grab more bread.
If you get the napkin dirty with lipstick, it's technically okay, right? You may have questions about whether to hide it, quote unquote, or it being visible. If you can, you could technically hide it, right? Fold the napkin in half and put it on your lap. But it's not super important because it is on your lap and you do have the table. We are getting started very soon. Just waiting for the last couple of entrees here. Bear with us. Please be patient. Once again, if everybody has their entree, you can start grabbing the bread. Do not eat the bread. We'll teach you how to do so very, very, very shortly. Does everybody have an entree on your table?
Chris, you want to discuss the butter one more time?
Go for it.
And now that everybody has the plate, the butter, you pick up, again, you're going to pick up the plate, offer it to your person on the left. They'll grab, and then it goes back to you. You grab your own butter, and so on. However, in this case, the butter is, I'm going to do a makeshift here, so give me 1 second. So, in most cases, when you go to different types of restaurants, they have the butter already in little, nice, cute little, little dollops of butter, right? So what do? You're not gonna grab it with your hand, right? So you pick up your knife that you have on your plate. In some instances, depending on what they're offering, if you have a butter knife, you grab the butter knife, or if the plate itself has its own butter knife, you grab it. But notice, I'm not gonna grab a little bit. It's customary for you to grab the whole little dollop, and then you place it on the side of your plate, because you are the user. You're gonna use that, okay? And then you put your knife again at the top of your plate, facing you, with the edge facing you, not outward. And then you pass the butter to your person on the right. Now, in this case, you have the butter in these little containers. So you're gonna grab the butter and you'll place it like so here on the side, closer to you, wherever, and then you'll pass it along. Okay. Now notice how I did this one. I did not open it completely. Okay, so you don't have to necessarily open it completely to make a mess on the side. You can just open it enough to grab the butter that you need. Okay. Did everybody get that? Questions about that?
Go over the bread.
And then now that you already have your bread, again, you're gonna open it. You open it regularly, and depending on how much butter your personal preference, you grab just a little, and you may butter your bread, but you don't have to. Notice how I'm not going like this, right? You just do it enough to where it still looks okay. You put your knife back, and then you put your bread there, and you place it back on the side. Again, it doesn't go on the table, it goes back on your plate. Okay?
Do not bite the actual bread, right? You can do it at home, you can do it with your friends, but when it comes to dining etiquette, it's generally frowned upon. Do not bite into the bread, and you can actually break it up into smaller pieces. Some of you may have heard the expression break bread before, and this is actually where it comes from. You're literally breaking bread, basically dining with someone.
Notice how I didn't take the bread roll completely apart. I just cut it enough to put the butter in there. Because like he said, yes, you are breaking it, but you're not going to eat it like this. You're going to take off bits at a time and eat it again. Because some of us have a tendency to just want to lean in and bite it, and then place it and bite it, but that's not. We do not do that here. Okay.
So now this is a great opportunity to start eating your entree. Once again,
before you eat, you must be mindful that everybody at the table has their plate. If there's one person missing a plate at your table, then it's not proper etiquette for you to eat or to start eating until the last person at your table has received their actual plate. Now, again, just like the way we did the salad, this is different from how we did the salad. You're going to pick up now your dining fork and your knife, and you're going to cut individual pieces. Small pieces again, okay? Just one or two. Not the whole chicken, notice.
Not the whole chicken. One piece.
You eat one piece at a time. You place your knife back here at the top. You pick up, don't lean, no leaning. If your food comes to you.
Notice one thing. We're asking you to get that one piece of food first, so you try the food first before you serve any salt or pepper on your food. Please try the food. Yo conozco muchas personas que son bien salados. They don't try the food before putting salt on it. That makes no sense, right? Try your food first, and then add any condiments you may need. Speaking about salt and pepper, we're also going to go ahead and give you some information on how to pass those condiments when needed. So when the person that is closest to you can grab them.
And they are a set, so they're married. So the salt and pepper are technically married, so they go together when you pass them along. So you pick them up, again, you offer them, and you place them on the table. In this particular case, you place the salt and pepper on the table to the person to your left. They use, or they can say no thank you. You pick up, you use what you need, and you pass it along to the person on your right.
Salt and pepper are placed on the table. Do not reach over 2, 3, 4 people and hand it to the next person. And do not give it directly into their hand. So I'm not sure if you all have ever heard this superstition. You don't give the salt to a person on their hand, right? Because then you end up in fights and things of that nature. Just superstition, but common dining etiquette calls for making sure that you put the salt and pepper together. They are a married couple. If you're passing it to the next person, put it on the table. Do not give it in their hand, right?
And this is also a good opportunity for you all to know to not do this. This is not a food stacking event. You do not do this, okay? You eat each individual piece, so you grab the chicken, you eat the chicken. You don't grab a whole combo here and stuff it in your mouth, because then this is already too much food. So you grab just a piece of chicken, you place it in your mouth, a vegetable, you place it in your mouth, potato, you place it in your mouth. Again, if you've already finished more than half of your meal by now, that means you're eating too fast. Remember, you're talking with people, they're asking you questions in most instances, you're conversing. So smaller portions are better, okay?
Once again, one piece of the chicken at a time. If you cut it all up, it's just going to get dry and nasty. One piece at a time. Break your bread as you're having the lunch. You can also cut up your vegetables, right? You don't have to eat the whole vegetable the way that it was cut. You can most definitely cut it into bite-sized pieces to make it easier. My recommendation, that's one thing that I do, is I cut everything about the size of my thumb. That makes it easier. That's a good rule of thumb to follow, no pun intended. And continue breaking bread, right? We're gonna go ahead and let you dine, eat your lunch, enjoy your food, savor the food, have some conversations. If you have questions, let us know. We'll walk around. So, once again, make sure to swallow your food before you speak or before you get more food. Makes it easier. When using your utensils are only used to eat. Don't point with your utensils, don't use them as props to communicate, right? Don't do that. Use them to eat, use them for what they are intended for.
And again, if you're right, you don't eat with your left with the fork like this. You put it in your proper right hand, and you eat. The way you cut your food, you don't eat it how you're cutting it. You do have to put your knife down and properly put your fork in your right hand and eat with your right hand.
If you are a lefty, you can use your left. I want to make sure that I emphasize that. Don't try to eat with your weak hand, you're going to make a mess. Use your strong hand.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And again, if you're going to put your fork down, it doesn't go here on the side, it goes at the top, on top of your knife. If you're going to take a break, if you need to step away from the table, if you're going to talk for a longer period of time, your fork goes over here on top where your knife goes. Never on the side of your plate like this.
Most of you are pretty close to being done. You can definitely finish everything that is on your plate, right? You can eat the last piece of vegetable, you can eat the last piece of chicken. However, For example, don't grab the last bit of sauce with your finger and lick it off, right? Common sense, right? Common sense, but just want to make sure that I share that with you. Want to make sure that we emphasize that you can definitely eat all your food. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to leave something behind, right? Just don't be super messy. Don't pick up your plate, lick it off. Don't do that, right? Goes without saying. Look around the table. Look at the pace people are eating. If you are going at a similar pace, you're golden. If you're running behind, you probably need to speed up. If you're running too far ahead, you probably need to slow down, right? Read the room, read the table. Mind your elbows, mind your elbows. Don't bump into each other, don't put them on the table. Once you're close to finishing your entree, you can go ahead and put your utensils back on the plate. You're not going to use them. They could be placed like what Cristina is placing, and she'll go ahead and explain that.
So if in some instances, if you've been invited to go eat and have a lunch meeting and you might have already eaten, but again, like Mr. Rivera said earlier, you want to at least taste the food. You don't want to be rude, and because they're offering to share a meal with you, take a few bites. But if you're not going to eat the rest of your plate, in most instances, if you cross your utensils here, like I have on my plate, that means, and it's designating to the servers that you're finished with your meal, and they may come and pick up your plate. This is also a good opportunity if you're no longer going to use your spoon for your tea. If they gave you, a teaspoon, then you may put it on your plate. Okay? However, if you're going to drink coffee after or something like that, and you do have a second spoon, you may opt to keep your spoon. If not, then you can leave it here on your plate, and then they'll go ahead and also pick that up and they'll take that. Okay, because we're not at the dessert section yet, but I've already let them know that I'm ready for them to come and take my plate.
I think it's also important to know, if you look at Cristina's plate, she does have that one fork left over at the very, very top, still on the table. That is what you will be using for your dessert. So please make sure that you keep it for dessert. Don't let the server take it away, right? Just keep that in mind. Every single utensil that you have used already will basically be gone by the time that you eat your dessert and should be taken by the servers.
And another good rule of thumb is that when you're eating, and if you have an overwhelming amount of silverware on the sides here, the one thing to remember is you want to work from the outside in. So you're always going to grab the fork on the outermost side, on your left-hand side, and use that one first. And then work your way closer to your plate.
Sometimes your plate may also come with its own knife, right? Like a steak knife that may be needed for like a tougher protein to cut. So just keep that in mind. That may also happen. It's very normal. Take advantage of that utensil, right? The serving staff is giving you that unique piece of cutlery for the purposes of eating that unique dish. Yes, so when something falls to the floor, you basically do the following. You make sure that nobody can trip on it, and you kind of get it out of the way. If it is a utensil, you basically request another one. That is the basic answer to that question. If you drop your knife, your spoon, your fork, do not pick it up and do not use it again, right? I think I mentioned this already. If you drop your napkin, you can technically request another one. Since it's on your lap and it's protecting you, you can pick it up. That's not a problem. But especially with your utensils, do not reuse something that has fallen on the floor. If you spill something, which could also happen, just make sure to be careful. Make sure to don't make a big scene out of it, but make sure to inform the serving staff so they can take care of cleaning it. Once again, you have to be conscious of everybody else that is around you. You don't want to create a tripping hazard and things of that nature. So just make sure to let the serving staff know so they can take care of whatever situation may arise. One thing that we noticed earlier during the day were people that were like sharing their salad and letting some people take their tomato, letting some people take their cucumber. Don't do that, right? Whatever's on your plate belongs to you and only you. Don't pass up your plate if you don't finish your chicken and give it to somebody else. Don't let people dig into your plate with their fork and get some of your mashed potatoes. Whatever's on your plate belongs to you and only you, right? Don't share. I know it is very traditional for us to do that in our culture, but that is not necessarily part of like dining etiquette. How's everybody doing with those entrees? Are we almost done with those entrees? If you are done with those entrees, you can definitely replicate the setup that we have here at the projection screen. And if you're not done yet, take your time. No rush. If there's still a significant amount of people in your table that are still eating, take your time. Don't rush it. That's how accidents happen. We still have some time left for lunch, right? Take your time. We're doing perfectly on time. If you're standing up from your table, please make sure to excuse yourself. There's nothing wrong with having to step out, right? Having to stand up, but please make sure to excuse yourself. Be conscious of the people next to you. So at this point in time, our serving staff is actually walking around and picking up the plates that are empty. Do not touch your dessert yet. Bear with us. This will be the next part of the training. Bear with us.
And again, it's customary for you to not touch your dessert until the last person has finished their meal. So you have to wait until the very end. The last person that still has the big plate, you have to wait until they're actually done with their food, until it's been cleared. If they've already cleared your plate and you're still waiting for people to finish at your table, you may now start to move your dessert closer to you, but without touching it. So you may put it back in your plate.
Once again, if you no longer have an entree or a dish in front of you, you're more than welcome to get your cheesecake, your dessert, closer to you. Don't eat it yet, but you're more than welcome to bring it closer to you. We will proceed with eating dessert very shortly. Please bear with us. We're still getting some plates out of the way. Once again, if you no longer have the plate for your main entree in front of you, you're more than welcome to get the dessert and bring it closer to you. Once again, friendly reminder, you should still have that fork at the very top of your plate. Have all the entree dishes been removed from your tables already? Does anybody have an entree dish in front of you? Okay, it sounds like we were good to go to proceed with our dessert, which is the final course of today's lunch. Same concept applies really. So before you dive into the cheesecake, I want to make sure that I say this. Sometimes very fancy lunches and dinners may serve coffee with your cheesecake, with your dessert, so on and so forth. Um, the same rules that we had for the preparation of the tea apply for that. So if you need to get the sugar, you need to get the creamer, they'll bring that to you. They might even bring an additional spoon just to do that. Um, the type of utensil that you have in front of you for the dessert is also it's there for a reason, right? And so, for instance, today you're eating cheesecake, and that's the reason why you got a fork. If you're eating something like a mousse or ice cream, you may get a spoon, right? So it's different. But aside from that, once you're at this point, you are basically free to dive into the cheesecake. Once again, please make sure to eat in small, bite-sized pieces. Taste your dessert. I know it's delicious and I know it's really, really tasty, but don't finish your cheesecake in 3 forkfuls or spoonfuls or 3 bites, right? Make sure to enjoy it. Small, bite-sized pieces. Continue having those conversations. Nothing too big. If you have to open your mouth super wide to get that bite of cheesecake, you're probably getting too big of a piece. So make sure it's something small, something that is easy to eat. Okay. Lastly, I'm just gonna say it because I heard it. Don't do the right. Don't do that. That's super weird. It's very weird. It's super weird. It's kind of cringe. No need to do that. If it's tasty, right? No need to do the no need to do that. You don't have to do that, people. Absolutely no need. No need. Sorry if I put you on the spot, but you know who you are. Yeah. And I think that also is synonymous with everything else. If you really really like the food, go ahead and say it. If you didn't really really like the food, right, you don't have to say that, right? Be conscious of everybody else. If you really enjoyed it, hey, thank you, great job. Compliments to the staff, so on and so forth. But if you don't like it, just keep those mean negative comments to yourself, and that will make for a lovely evening. So sometimes people don't eat their cheesecake. Uh, don't ask, right? If you see that someone's not eating their cheesecake or they only ate half of it and you want to eat the rest, same thing that we mentioned for the entree applies here. What is on your plate belongs to you and only you, right? Don't try to take somebody's cheesecake away, right? Finish your slice and you're good. Trust me, when you're old like me, portion control will make a huge difference in your life. So just do whatever you have in front of you. Once you're done with your cheesecake, you're more than welcome to put that fork on your plate in the same fashion that we've been doing so for the past two courses. Once you're done with that cheesecake, you can put that fork back on it. If you're still not done, that is perfectly fine. Take your time, we still have time. How is everybody doing with their cheesecake? Ya me lo acabamos, almost done. Take your time, take your time. Make sure to enjoy your food. As soon as we're done with this, we are moving forward with the next part of the Palomino Pathways Summit, which is actually our breakout sessions. And so I'm going to go ahead and cover a little bit of the breakout sessions we will be having today as soon as we're done with our cheesecake so that we can move forward. Once we're done with the breakout sessions, however, you will be asked to come back to this space, to come back to the Falcon Executive Conference Room for a panel. And that panel will actually be our closing session. You will be able to ask any questions you may think are necessary to know about whenever you're looking for a job upon graduation. And we'll also do a giveaway, and we'll call it a wrap. We'll call it a wrap right after we have that panel. We'll be leaving very, very, very soon.